Imagine you are drifting alone through the frozen, silent void of deep space. Earth is nothing more than a forgotten memory, a pale blue speck lost in the endless ink of the cosmos. There is no rescue coming. There is no radio chatter in your helmet. There is only you, the fragile hum of your life support system, and the sheer, unending drop into the abyss beneath your boots. You look down, and your breath catches in your throat. Filling your entire field of vision, stretching so far across the horizon that your brain physically cannot comprehend its size, is a monster. A swirling, bruised, ancient titan of gas and violence. Jupiter. Gravity does not just pull you toward it, it demands you. And as you begin to fall, you realize with absolute, sickening certainty, you are not going to survive this. From a distance, looking through the lenses of our telescopes, it looks almost peaceful. A beautiful, marbled sphere of butterscotch, rust, and cream, suspended perfectly in the dark. The Great Red Spot looks like a beautiful painting, a brushstroke of cosmic art left by the Creator. You might even feel a sense of awe as the intricate swirls of the upper atmosphere come into focus, looking like ripples on a quiet pond. But something is wrong. As you drift closer, the illusion of beauty shatters. Those gentle ripples are not ripples at all. They are apocalyptic storms, churning with a ferocity that defies human imagination. That beautiful red painting is a hurricane 3 times the size of your entire home planet. A vortex of rage that has been screaming into the void for over 400 years. The quiet majesty of the planet is a lie. You are looking at the most hostile, violent, and unforgiving environment in the solar system. But here's the problem. You aren't even in the atmosphere yet, and Jupiter is already killing you. Long before you touch the first cloud, you hit the invisible fire. Jupiter possesses a magnetic field so incomprehensibly massive and powerful that if you could see it from Earth, it would appear larger than our full moon in the night sky. This magnetic field acts as a colossal particle accelerator, trapping electrons and protons and whipping them around the planet at nearly the speed of light. You have just entered the radiation belts. This is not the kind of radiation that gives you a sunburn. This is a storm of subatomic shrapnel tearing through the fabric of your spacesuit, through your skin, through your muscles, and straight into your DNA. The NASA Galileo mission and the Juno probe had to be built like literal tanks, encased in heavy vaults of titanium just to survive the electronic bombardment. Without that vault, your nervous system begins to fry. You taste metal in your mouth. Brilliant, blinding flashes of light erupt inside your eyeballs as high-energy particles physically strike your retinas. You are being microwaved from the inside out in the freezing cold of space. But it gets worse. You haven't even crossed the threshold of the planet, but gravity is now dragging you down at a terrifying velocity. You are accelerating to over 100,000 miles per hour. As you hit the uppermost layers of the exosphere, the friction of the thin gases against your suit ignites. You become a human meteor, completely engulfed in a blazing inferno of superheated plasma. The temperature outside your visor spikes to levels that would melt steel, while your fragile human body is subjected to G-forces that threaten to snap your spine and pool all the blood in your feet. If by some absolute miracle of engineering, your suit does not instantly vaporize into a smear of carbon, you break through the fire and plunge into the true atmosphere. The blinding light of the plasma trails fades. replaced by a sickening, bruised twilight. You are falling through clouds of frozen ammonia. The temperature violently snaps from thousands of degrees to hundreds of degrees below zero. The cold is so absolute, so piercing, that your life support struggles to keep your blood from turning to ice. And this is where things change, because you suddenly realize there is no ground. Earth has mountains, valleys, and oceans. Earth gives you a place to land. Jupiter gives you nothing. It is a bottomless pit of gas that gets thicker, darker, and deadlier the deeper you sink. You are in freefall through a canyon of clouds, surrounded by hurricane winds tearing around the planet at nearly 400 miles per hour. The sheer acoustic violence of the wind roaring past your helmet is enough to deafen you. Then comes the lightning. Jupiter's lightning strikes are so powerful they make Earth's thunderstorms look like flickering static. These are bolts of pure energy, miles wide, superheating the atmosphere and creating shockwaves that would shatter your bones if they struck too close. You are a tiny, fragile speck of flesh tumbling through a theater of apocalyptic violence, completely at the mercy of a planet that does not even notice you are there. But that's not even the worst part. The real horror of Jupiter isn't the storms, the cold, or the lightning. It is the weight. As you sink deeper, the sunlight completely disappears. You are swallowed by an eternal, crushing darkness. And with every mile you drop, the atmosphere piled up above you begins to press down. On Earth, we live under the comfortable weight of one atmosphere of pressure. Right now, you are sinking through hundreds, then thousands of atmospheres. In 1995, NASA dropped the Galileo probe into Jupiter to see how far it could get. It survived for less than an hour. It didn't burn up, it didn't crash into a surface. It was literally squeezed out of existence by the sheer weight of the atmosphere. You begin to feel the pressure suit wrapping tightly around your skin. Your lungs fight to expand against the invisible vice grip tightening around your chest. The gas around you is no longer acting like a gas. It is becoming thick, dense, and suffocating. It pushes against your visor, straining the reinforced glass. You can hear the horrifying sound of the polymers in your suit groaning, microfractures forming under a weight equivalent to having a fully loaded freight train parked on your chest. You are being buried alive in a grave made of sky. But here is the truly terrifying realization. The planet isn't done with you yet. If you somehow possessed a magical, indestructible body, you would continue to sink for thousands of miles into the pitch-black abyss. The pressure and temperature rise to levels that break the fundamental laws of chemistry. The hydrogen gas that makes up the planet is squeezed so violently that the atoms are physically crushed together. The electrons are ripped from their orbits. The air around you stops being air. It turns into an ocean. But not an ocean of water. You have entered the realm of metallic hydrogen. You are now sinking through a churning, boiling sea of liquid metal. It is completely opaque, furiously hot, and conducts electricity. You are suspended in the largest ocean in the solar system, a nightmare environment that generates Jupiter's massive, lethal magnetic field. There is no concept of up or down anymore. You are simply suspended in a blindingly hot, electrically charged soup that would dissolve human tissue into fundamental atoms in a fraction of a millisecond. And yet, it gets worse. You are being dragged toward the core. Deep in the heart of this cosmic slaughterhouse, scientists believe there lies a dense ball of exotic ice, rock, and metal, perhaps 10 times the mass of Earth. But it is not a solid surface you could ever stand on. The pressure here is millions of times greater than at sea level on Earth. The temperature is hotter than the surface of the sun. In this hellish epicenter, the very concept of matter becomes unrecognizable. If your indestructible body finally reached this point, you would not just be crushed. You would not just be incinerated. You would be chemically dismantled, your atoms melted down and forcefully integrated into the churning, violent heart of the planet itself. You would cease to be human. You would become a microscopic part of Jupiter. The universe was never meant for us. We look up at the night sky and we see stars, we see planets, we see beautiful, glowing spheres that inspire our art and our dreams. We build telescopes and launch probes, desperate to reach out and touch the infinite. But the infinite does not want to be touched. Jupiter is a beautiful, swirling masterpiece of physics, but it is also a grave reminder of our absolute insignificance. It is a monument to cosmic violence, a place where the laws of nature act with a brutal, uncaring efficiency. It does not hate us. It does not want to destroy us. It simply exists on a scale so grand and terrifying that our survival is biologically incompatible with its presence. We are fragile creatures, clinging to a tiny rock perfectly calibrated to keep us alive. Beyond our thin blue atmosphere lies a dark, violent, and indifferent universe filled with monsters. And the king of those monsters is a beautiful, swirling, giant eye in the dark, spinning silently in the void, waiting for nothing and destroying everything.